Guys, I'm Brianna, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming my May wrap up, and I know I've been absent and I'm sorry, I haven't posted a video in a month. I've just been super busy in May. I had my APs and it's kind of pretty much my last full month of school, so I was just crazy busy with all this stuff. And yeah, so I just posted a video a while ago about, or last week, about my college and where I'm going, so I thought I'd share with you my summer reading assignment. So in my college, I have to take this class called College Life, and basically from what I have, I guess, seen so far about it, it's just talking about the transition from high school to college, and we are required summer reading. There's no assignment along with it, you just have to read it, and I am super excited to read it because I have not read it yet, which I don't know why I haven't, but it's The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. If you guys don't know about this book, go check it out. It seems really cool, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but from what I understand, it's about racial tensions and police officers and that aspect and that side of things. So it seems really cool. It goes into issues with the police violence and racism, and I'm really excited, and they gave this to me, so of course I got another book. That makes me happy, and it is really big. This may be on my June TBR. I think I'm gonna read it in July though and just do post-it notes like I always do, so I thought I would share this with you guys. And then next, I wanted to share my current read. I'm actually reading 3 books at the moment. The physical book I'm reading is Opposition, which is the 5th and final book of the Lux series. If you don't know, well, I'll talk about it more in my wrap up, the other 2 books. But yeah, so this is the conclusion of Damon and Katie's story. Then I'm also reading Fallen Crest Family, and it's taking me a while to get through it. I'm about 65% of the way done. I'm reading it on my Kindle, and I don't know, it's not as good as the first book, and I feel like there's so much unnecessary drama, and that could be because it's summertime in there, or it's winter break or something, and I'm just not feeling it right now. But the third book really interests me because it's Fallen Crest Public, so if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that's by Tijan. And the last book is by Tara Civic. It's the second book in her Princess series, and it's actually really good. I read the first book in a day and a half, and I'm obsessed, so I just bought the second book, and yeah. So on to all the Kindle books I've read. I read a total of 19 books in May, so not my best, but I still read a decent amount. Some of these are kind of overlaps from the first 3 days in June, so I wanted to just incorporate it in my May wrap up. So the first ebook I read was Jock Row by Sarah Nye. I gave this a 5 out of 5. This was an amazing college romance. I really loved it. The main guy character was on the baseball team, and I don't really read a lot of baseball romances, so I thought that was cool. But I also liked how just typical it was with college life, and it was really cool. So basically she was kind of stuck up a little bit, and she was trying to get her friends to leave, and she got kicked out of the frat house, and the guy who was on babysitting duties, they kind of hit it off, but they don't hit it off at the same time, so it's kind of a hate to love relationship, and I really liked it. Yeah, so this is honestly I think this series is going to be better than her How to Date a Douchebag series, in my opinion. Then I read The Hardest Fall by Ella Mays. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. It's said to be a football romance, but it's more of a college romance. For me, it was just lacking some things. It took a little bit to get into, and I just really didn't like the flow of the book and how it ended. I wasn't a huge fan of just what happened, and the writing wasn't amazing. It's gotten really great reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. I just didn't like it for some reason. Then I read Pick 6 by Max Monroe. I gave this a 5 out of 5. This is book 2 of Mavericks Tackle Love. I loved it. This is another football romance. It follows a vlogger named Six, and obviously a football player, and he's kind of like the cocky guy, and he's just like all about himself. And she's kind of like, she's spunky. She's always described as like really short. She's like 5 feet. She's very like big attitude, and I just really love this book. I love Max Monroe's writing. I believe it's a duo author, and I'm just really living for this series. It's really great. The first book was amazing. The second book was amazing. So I can't wait for the next two. I think it's July and September, or maybe June and August that it comes out. I'm not positive. Then I read Ace of Hearts by Chantel Fernando. I gave this a 4 out of 5. This was a motorcycle romance. I liked it. Nothing to complain about. There were some things I had issues with towards the end, like who was doing certain things. Like there was like a poisoning, so I didn't really like who ended up poisoning. It was just like, I wasn't a fan of that plot line, but I love the main girl character. She was very spunky, and I also had a problem with the guy she ended up with. I just felt like it was so rushed, and it just wasn't like amazing, but I did give it a 4 because I liked, I guess, the content overall. Then I read Dearest Clementine by Lex Martin. I've been seeing this all over the place. I actually follow Penny Reed's newsletter. I subscribe to her, and she gave a free copy of Lex Martin's book for Kindle. So obviously I snatched that up. So yeah, but I've been hearing a lot of Lex Martin by Peace Love Books, so I wanted to try her out, and it seems really interesting. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5. This is a contemporary book, and I really, really enjoyed it. My one issue that I gave it a 4 because I just didn't like Jason Wheeler and his role in things. I don't want to say too much about it because it kind of gives away the plot, but you'll understand that. I just didn't like that plot. I felt like it was kind of forced and rushed into it. I think if that didn't happen, it would have been a really solid 5 out of 5 book. Then I read Royals by Rachel Hawkins. Okay, so during the wedding, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle wedding, so I ended up watching it, and I was like really like just happy the whole time, and I was just so excited. I don't know why, because I normally never get into these things, but I just was happy. I guess I was in a wedding mood. And so I decided to pick up Royals because I had it, and I was so like anticipating this because it was about like a royal wedding and all this stuff, and I was so let down. I only gave it a 3 out of 5. I just had so many problems with it. It just wasn't like that great. I don't know. Like the ending I was happy with. It just overall it wasn't what I was expecting, and I just wanted more from it, and it just didn't give me that. So. And then the last ebook I read was Fallen Crest High by Tijan. I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was a reread for me. I read it a while ago when it first came out, but it was good. It wasn't like the best book in the world, but I feel like the series is going to get better as it goes on, and I really want to read up to Fallen Crest University because I am going to college, so I really like reading college books. So I'm trying to push through the second book. The second book I'm not really feeling 100%. But hopefully I can get through it, and we'll see. So that's all the ebooks I read. Then I read Lux Beginnings and Lux Consequences. These are both by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I ended up getting these off of a Twitter trade, and I really want all Jennifer Armentrout's books because I collect them now. But I really love the original covers. The original colors are my favorite. Covers are my favorite. But so Beginnings has books 1 and 2, which is Obsidian and Onyx, and Consequences has books 3 and 4, which is Opal and Origin. And I gave all 4 of these books a 5 out of 5. But basically what the first book is about, if you would like to read it, is it deals with aliens. And there's this girl named Katie. She's a book blogger, so she does the blogging, and I thought that was really cool. So she moves from Florida to West Virginia, and she's kind of starting over. It's her senior year, and next door there's 2 twins named Damon and Dee. And Damon, he's kind of a douchebag. You don't really like him at first, and turns out they're aliens. So they're part of the Luxon species, and it's kind of goes all into that. And I just love her books. I wanted to reread these because she's doing a spin-off series called, I think it's Origin. I'm not sure, but it's Luke's books. It's Luc. He is in, I think he's in book 3. I think he appears first in Opal, but I love him, and he's like a child in these books, so I think the other books take place a couple years later. But phenomenal, as usual. Jennifer Armentrout just doesn't disappoint, so definitely recommend these if you want to read them. Oh my god, and they're so big. Okay, so the next couple books are series. So the first one is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So I started my reread this month, and I read all 4 of them this month, in May, which was kind of really bad, but really good at the same time. So the first 3 books were rereads for me, and the A Court of Frost and Starlight was the new one. So this is pretty much a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't really want to get too much into depth, but I 100% recommend this. This is my favorite series of all time. I am obsessed with this series, so I definitely really recommend this if you do like fantasy. But I gave this 5 out of 5. It was really good, and I just wish I can reread this without knowing what's happening again, so it's just fresh. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. Then I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 2. Again, exceptional. I gave this a 5 out of 5. This book is honestly one of my favorite books of all time. So right now, A Court of Thorns and Roses is here, then A Court of Mist and Fury is through the roof, and then A Court of Rings and Ruin is between them. It's not better than this book, but it's better than the first book. And I'm not saying plot-wise it's better, it's just everything. It's just so much more detailed, and I just love this. This book is so freaking good. And then I read A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 3. This is the finale of this trilogy, and pretty much what she's doing now is she has a couple more novellas that she's doing, and she's bridging the gap into a next series, which is going to follow the following characters that I say. So I would stop watching if you have not read this series, because this is kind of spoilery, so come back in a little bit after I show this book. So this is the, I guess, 3.1. It's the novella that bridges the gap between the first 3 books and the next. I think it's going to be trilogy, I'm not positive, but this is A Court of Frost and Starlight. Okay, first off, I just want to say the booktube community with this book is bothering me so much. They're rating it so low, and I don't think they understand what a novella is supposed to be. Novellas are not supposed to be all about action and drama. Novellas are more about telling a story and just telling you what's going on and kind of getting straight to the facts. And this did exactly that. I did give us a 5 out of 5, so it kind of upsets me to see people have not liked this, but I also think people don't understand the concept of a novella. And it just frustrates me, because this book is so good because of all it does. It definitely wraps up the final novel, and we see more of Feyre and Rhysand and just all this stuff happening. But people are like, no, this book is I gave it a 2, I gave it a 3, and I'm like, why? It's a novella. Nothing's supposed to happen in the novella that's important. It's supposed to just continue the story, not it's supposed to be more action. So that's what bothered me. So I'm sorry if that's an unpopular opinion, but that's what a novella is, and people are not understanding that. So don't blame Sarah, and don't say that the publishing company made her write more books and she's pregnant and all this stuff. No, it doesn't matter. This is what a novella is supposed to be. If you have read novellas before, there's no action that happens. Maybe a few scenes where there's some drama, which does happen in this book, but it's not crazy like the last couple books. So if you were expecting that, that's not what a novella is. But to continue on, I really did love this book. This focuses, it's only a span of a couple days or a couple weeks. This focuses more on, I believe, it's called the winter solstice, and that's Feyre's birthday. So it kind of shows now the aftermath of the war and everything that happens, and I really, really loved it. And the next book is going to be about Cassian and Nesta. And Nesta, I do have problems with overall. Like, I understand, like, I'm sympathetic to her because she is suffering from PTSD, but I just don't like her character overall. She's kind of like a female dog, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I really don't like her. But that's what's good about this book, is because they're making it so we don't like her. But Cassian I love, and he deserves, like, all the best in this world. So there's so much tension in this. It goes in 4 point of views. It's Cassian, Morgan, which I thought was very interesting, Feyre, and Rhysand. So I really recommend this book. You have to go into it knowing that it's not going to be all the action and drama like the other books, but overall, this was really good. It answered a lot of my questions and opened up my questions for the next book. And the Barnes, I think all the editions have like the little part of the next book, so I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be coming out spring of 2019. So we're getting the final Throne of Glass book October 23rd. So excited about that. But I'll be in college, so, you know, taking a trip to the Barnes & Noble closest to me. And this one, we have to wait, I believe, till spring, unless the date changes. I'm not positive. But yeah, 5 out of 5. I love this book. And next, I finished another series that's continuing. So I read Grin and Beard It by Penny Reed. This is book number 2. This follows Jethro and Sienna, and this was hilarious. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Jethro is a brother that had so much more details explained to him in this book, and I just really enjoyed it. And Sienna was hilarious. I loved that we got a woman of color in this book. She's Latino, and she's a movie star, so I thought that was really cool. And seeing just her struggles and how she's like overcoming it, I just really loved this book. There was so much detail, and it's not that big of a book, so I applaud Penny Reed because these books are phenomenal. Then I have Beard Science, which is book number 3 of the Winston Brothers series, and I love this book yet again. I only gave it a 4.5 out of 5 just because I had problems with Jennifer in the beginning. I just didn't like her. She was such a weak character, and not weak as in like development. She was weak as in like I just didn't like her. Like, she was very like a pushover. But Cletus was awesome. I have no clue like what yeah, I have no clue like how she created Cletus, but I really, really love him, and yeah. And the final book so far is Beard in Mind, and this follows Bew and Shelley. I call him Bew because his full name is Buford. A lot of people are going to call him, I think it's Bo, how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm calling him Bew, so sorry if that's not right. But this book was really good. I loved Shelley, and I loved how we got to see, like, OCD and just in depth, because I actually didn't realize that it was this bad. Like, OCD. I thought it was just, like, you're more... I can't really explain what I thought it was. But this book was so good, and it just goes so into detail, and I'm so happy for Bew that he got his happy ending. And then book 5 is coming out in July. That follows Billy. I believe it follows Billy, so I'm very excited to read that. And then the last book I read this month was To Kill a Kingdom by Alexander Christo, and I really loved this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I read this in the beginning of the month, so I don't remember exactly why I gave it this 4 out of 5. I think it just wasn't 100% there for me, but this was a great standalone. It's supposed to be a Little Mermaid retelling, which I mean it kind of is. So it follows Lyra, who is a siren, and there are also, so sirens in this book are really evil. They take hearts from sailors and they keep them in their treasure. And then there are also mermaids, which I thought that was an interesting twist. And the mermaids in this book, just like human treasures, so they attack shiny things. So if you have golds, they'll want that. And it's funny because the mermaids weren't described as beautiful. I think they were very bone-like, whereas the sirens were beautiful. I really like this, and Prince Elias, I think that's how you pronounce his name, was really cool, and I loved just Lyra's character and all that. I think I was a little iffy about the ending. I wasn't really a fan of just how it worked, like not how it worked out, but how the plot went. But I really enjoyed this book. This was a great book, and I'm definitely going to reread it eventually. And yeah, that's it for all 19 books I read in May. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more, guys. So, bye!